Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the Achiever in You.
Our region was the original gateway to the West. Pioneers stocked up on supplies in Pittsburgh before they headed west to settle the continent. Later, they continued to rely on Pittsburgh to supply their villages and settlements, made possible by robust and regularly scheduled steamboat service. That is, of course, if the steamboats managed to make it to their destination. And that brings us to the story of Pittsburgh's lost steamboat, the Arabia, which sank in the Missouri River in 1856. Pretty much her entire cargo is now on display at the Heinz History Center, sure to be a big visitor attraction to our region this summer. Andy Masek's back with us. He's president and CEO of the History Center. Welcome. Good to have you back.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, you gave me a quick run through of the exhibit not that long ago. I got to say, it is extraordinary to see all this stuff.
It's amazing. You know, to find 1 million objects 45 feet under a cornfield in Kansas City, it's a time capsule of Pittsburgh history when Pittsburgh was the gateway to the West, as you said. But what's it doing under a cornfield in Kansas City?
Exactly. There's supposed to be a river there. It was a boat after all, right?
And even crazier than that, it sank in Kansas but ended up in Missouri.
Okay, so tell me the story.
Here's how it happened. The boat is laid down in Brownsville. The engines are fit by the Lion and Shorb Company right here in Pittsburgh. It's loaded up with 1 million objects, as small as thimbles and as large as prefabricated homes. It steams down the Ohio River, up the Mississippi River, up the Missouri River. It's doing just fine until it hits a snag.
Okay.
And a snag is a sunken tree. So this boat is one of the victims of these snags. It goes down in 30 minutes, total loss. The muddy Missouri River washes over it. It keeps sinking deeper and deeper in the mud. The river changes course around the obstruction and leaves it a half a mile from the river channel, 45 feet under a cornfield, until a few years back, a family in Kansas City, the Hawley family, figured out from old navigation charts where the Arabia might be. They were looking for it.
Oh, okay. All right. They knew the history.
They thought they were going to find 300 barrels of Kentucky bourbon on board.
Well, that was the real incentive.
They were treasure salvers, and they thought they could really make a killing on this. Well, they dragged metal detectors over the cornfield, hit the boilers right away, these big iron boilers that burned wood and turned it into steam. Steam drove the paddle wheels, and they started excavating. Well, as soon as they excavated, the water came rushing into the hole because the water table is only 6 feet deep there around Kansas City. So they had to put 20 pumps, high-capacity pumps, all around the excavation site, pumping 20,000 gallons a minute out to lower the water table so they could scoop out 45 feet of fill to get to the boat.
And so there was the cargo, and what was inside? I guess it's now all on display, right?
It's at the Heinz History Center, and the amazing thing is the state of preservation is perfect. Because it was in an anaerobic environment, no oxygen 45 feet under a cornfield in the water table, so we found coats, hats, shoes, boots, bolts of fabric with brilliant colors.
That's the stuff that never survives.
Never!
Yeah.
It's the largest cache of pre-Civil War stuff in America. But the amazing thing is, even the pickles were still green in the jars. They were edible.
Edible.
One of the guys, one of the diggers, opened it up, ate their sweet pickles.
So you can still eat them?
The champagne was still drinkable.
Okay, so there was some booze on board.
There was some brandy and some champagne. They never found the bourbon, but the champagne was still under pressure. One of the corks popped. Someone sampled some, they said it wasn't great, but it didn't kill them either. But that's the amazing thing. This is a time capsule of Pittsburgh history when Pittsburgh was the gateway to the West. And all these things on the boat are what you need on the frontier to survive. Lots of hardware, clothing, boots and shoes, even prefabricated homes.
Even the prefabricated. I know, I love this one image where it looks like there's a barrel hanging above what looks like all kinds of hardware and everything.
You know,
just incredible.
hinges and bolts and locks and screws and bolts and window glass, lots of window glass.
So this was about survival on the frontier. I mean, people were relying on this ship from Pittsburgh to be able to pioneer, settle the continent. Right?
It's interesting that you say that, because when this boat went down, two towns in Wyoming and Montana dried up and blew away as a result of not getting their food supply and their building supplies before the winter. So these boats were essential for those settlements on the western frontier.
Pretty amazing. So how long is it going to be at the History Center?
It'll be at the History Center till Christmas. We hope people will come down over the summer. Bring your family and friends. It's an amazing story of survival and Pittsburgh when it was indeed the gateway to the West.
All right, Andy Masek, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Everybody's got to go see the Steamboat Arabia. Thanks. And we'll be back in a minute with a little dollars and cents. Stay with us.